Wait, what does Johnny Depp have to do with UFC live streams crashing? You're probably thinking, isn't he a movie star, not a cage fight commentator? And you'd be right. But what went down during UFC Vegas 107 has fans in a frenzy, ESPN in hot water, and somehow, Johnny Depp caught in the middle of it all. You ever paid good money for a live stream and then got hit with lag, buffering, or just a straight-up blackout? If you've been there, you know exactly how maddening it feels. You're excited, maybe. You planned your evening around this event, you've invited friends over or grabbed your favorite snacks, and then nothing. Just a spinning wheel. Or worse, a frozen screen, crackling audio, or an endless loading bar that never quite reaches the end. Now imagine that on a massive scale during a highly anticipated UFC event with thousands of fans experiencing that frustration all at once. That's exactly what happened during UFC Vegas 107. From the moment the event started, fans across the country reported issues accessing the live stream via ESPN+, the network's paid streaming platform. Instead of the adrenaline rush of punches, flying and fighters going toe-to-toe, people were met with endless delays, repeated errors, or complete failure to access the stream. Some viewers said the feed cut out moments before the first match started. Others were stuck on buffering screens for the majority of the prelims, while a handful didn't even get to see the main card until it was nearly over. And for fans who had shelled out their hard-earned money expecting smooth, high-quality streaming, the outrage was instant. This wasn't just some minor glitch that resolved in a few minutes. It was a systemic failure across the platform with a significant number of subscribers locked out of their paid service. Social media exploded. Within minutes, the must cancel ESPN was trending, with tweets piling up faster than punches in a title bout. People vented their anger, shared screenshots of error messages, and demanded refunds. Some even posted videos of themselves uninstalling the ESPN app while cursing the network. Reddit, especially subreddits like r/UFC and r/Cordcutters, were flooded with posts that ranged from irritated to downright furious. What made matters worse was that ESPN's customer service seemed unprepared for the fallout. Live chat was overwhelmed, phone lines were jammed, and many users reported receiving generic responses that didn't address their individual issues. "We apologize for the inconvenience" became the most repeated phrase of the night, but for people who missed out on their favorite fighters and paid premium prices, it wasn't enough. The frustration wasn't just about missing a fight, it was about trust being broken. People expect better from a major media company, especially one with exclusive rights to stream UFC events. Now, you might be wondering, what does Johnny Depp have to do with all of this? Well, that's where things get oddly fascinating. Depp, who has long expressed his admiration for martial arts and combat sports, had mentioned UFC Vegas 107 in the days leading up to the event. He had posted on Instagram about his excitement, shared a few cryptic stories with countdown clocks, and even dropped a subtle promo in an interview. Nothing official, but enough to show he was definitely tuning in. For his millions of followers, that was more than enough to generate buzz. So when the stream started crashing and people began searching for answers, Depp's name unexpectedly became part of the conversation. It started off as a joke, memes of Depp with the caption, "Even he can't fix this ESPN mess." But then it escalated. Some media outlets jumped on the trend, posting articles with exaggerated headlines like "Johnny Depp caught in UFC streaming scandal" or "Depp's UFC night turns into a disaster." It didn't matter that he had nothing to do with the tech side of the event. In the age of the internet, all it takes is one misinterpreted moment to start a wildfire of misinformation. There were even wild conspiracy theories floating around. One Redditor jokingly suggested that Depp had cursed the stream with his chaotic energy, while others blamed him for bringing Hollywood drama into the sanctity of fight night. Of course, all of this was baseless. Depp was simply a fan watching like everyone else. But being a celebrity means you don't always get the luxury of staying anonymous, especially when things go wrong. His name being attached to the debacle, even indirectly, made it trend even more, further stoking the flames of controversy and dragging the whole thing deeper into absurdity. In reality, the root of the issue had nothing to do with Depp. According to several media analysts and insiders, the real problem lies within ESPN's infrastructure. Over the last few years, ESPN Plus has aggressively expanded its streaming services. They've locked down exclusive contracts, especially with the UFC, and promised fans a seamless viewing experience. But behind the scenes, their platform has struggled to keep up with the demand. One tech consultant described it like this: "They built a mansion on a shaky foundation. It looks good from the outside, but once you get inside, everything starts falling apart." Insiders revealed that ESPN has been more focused on growing its subscriber base than upgrading its servers. One employee anonymously stated, "They kept pushing for higher viewership numbers without investing in the technology to support it. Every time there's a big spike, like during pay-per-view events, the whole thing starts buckling under the weight." That means that while the platform might work fine during regular programming or less popular events, it simply can't handle the surge when millions of users try to access it simultaneously. It doesn't help that UFC events are uniquely demanding in terms of streaming. Unlike a movie or TV show, which can be buffered or downloaded in advance, live sports require split-second precision. The slightest delay or hiccup can ruin the experience. Missing a single punch in a tightly contested round can change the entire outcome for fans who are following closely, and in a sport as unpredictable and fast-paced as MMA, every second counts. That's why fans felt particularly betrayed. They didn't just miss entertainment, they missed history in the making. Interestingly, some users outside the US reported far fewer issues. Fans accessing the stream via VPNs or from countries like Canada, the UK, or parts of Asia said they had a smooth experience with minimal lag and no outages. That added another layer of frustration for American viewers. How could international fans get a better stream from a US-based network than people watching domestically? The irony wasn't lost on the community, and it fueled even more anger toward ESPN's failure to serve its primary market. At one point during the night, an unofficial stream on a lesser-known site began trending, not because it was legal, but because it was the only way some fans could watch the fights. Desperate viewers flocked to pirate streams, many of which operated smoothly and offered better quality than the official platform. While piracy is obviously illegal and risky, it's telling when fans would rather take that chance than deal with a paid service that doesn't work. That speaks volumes about the state of ESPN's streaming reliability. Even ESPN's competitors started chiming in. A few sly tweets from rival networks threw shade, hinting that maybe fans deserved better. And while the UFC itself remained largely silent on the issue, possibly due to contractual obligations, several fighters posted cryptic messages that seemed to acknowledge the chaos. One popular bantamweight tweeted, "I hope my fight wasn't just a spinning wheel for half the country," with a laughing emoji. That tweet alone got over 50,000 likes and dozens of replies from fans who assured him that yes, indeed, that's exactly what they saw. As the dust settled, the damage to ESPN's reputation was undeniable. Calls for refunds became louder. Some users reported that they had canceled their subscriptions entirely, unwilling to give the network another chance. Others said they would no longer buy pay-per-view events through ESPN+, opting instead for other platforms, or skipping them altogether. Trust, once broken in the streaming world, is hard to regain. People don't forget when they're let down, especially when money is involved. In the aftermath, ESPN issued a brief statement acknowledging technical difficulties and promising to investigate the issue thoroughly. But for many fans, that wasn't good enough. They wanted answers, accountability, and above all, change. Empty apologies weren't going to fix the experience they missed or the moments they lost. And for Johnny Depp, who never asked to be part of this storm, it was just another bizarre chapter in the ongoing saga of his life in the spotlight. Somehow, even when Johnny Depp isn't acting, he manages to find himself right in the middle of drama, and not because he's causing it, but simply because he exists in this strange orbit where celebrity, technology, and public perception constantly collide. It's almost as if the universe conspires to make sure his name never drifts too far from the spotlight, whether he's on a movie set or just lounging at home trying to watch some martial arts. This time, it was the latter. A seemingly innocent night in, likely filled with snacks, friends, and the anticipation of watching a high-energy UFC event, turned into yet another bizarre chapter in the ever-growing archive of Johnny Depp things that shouldn't have happened, but did. He wasn't in the Octagon, he wasn't commentating, and he certainly wasn't part of the ESPN tech team. He was just watching, like thousands of others. And yet, by the time the chaos of UFC Vegas 107 had reached its boiling point, his name was being dragged into the situation as if he had something to do with the meltdown. It started playfully. Some users on Twitter jokingly asked if Depp had hacked the system or if the servers couldn't handle his star power. A meme of him looking confused at a red carpet event was quickly captioned with something like, "Johnny, trying to figure out why ESPN just blamed him for the UFC blackout." It was funny, at first, but then things snowballed. Social media is a powerful and then sometimes reckless tool. Jokes turned into narratives. Narratives turned into headlines. Suddenly, some fringe blogs and clickbait articles were running. Pieces titled Johnny Depp's UFC Stream Disaster or Did Johnny Depp Break ESPN Plus? These stories, of course, had little to no factual basis. They took bits and pieces, like the fact that Depp had posted an Instagram story about being excited for the fights, and twisted them into theories. Some claimed he had partnered with ESPN to promote the stream, which was untrue. Others suggested he had hosted some kind of private viewing party with VIP streaming access that somehow clashed with the public system. Again, not true. But the internet doesn't always stop for facts when a good story is in motion. People love connecting dots even when they don't really connect. And when you're a globally recognized figure like Johnny Depp, those dots are constantly being drawn around you. Even the smallest mention can send waves through the digital ocean. Depp's mere interest in the UFC fights was enough to get fans and critics alike to start theorizing about his role in the broader mess. It speaks volumes about the environment we're in, one where celebrity endorsement or attention, even indirect, can be blamed for technological failures completely out of their control. But there's another layer to this that makes it even more surreal. This incident wasn't just about a broken stream and a misdirected name drop. It was about the cultural moment we're in, where people are more connected than ever, but also more frustrated, more reactive, and more eager to assign blame. Streaming failures aren't new. We've seen it with concerts, gaming events, movie premieres, and yes, sports. The infrastructure simply isn't keeping up with the demand. Millions of people expect flawless delivery every time they hit play, and when that fails, anger erupts, especially when they've paid for the privilege. ESPN's failure during UFC Vegas 107 wasn't just a technical glitch, it was a breach of trust. Fans shell out for ESPN Plus with the understanding that they're getting premier access to the biggest events in sports. When that system falters, particularly during a high-stakes event like a UFC fight night, the backlash is fierce. The fury was justified. Some fans had invited friends over, set up viewing parties, or stayed up late in different time zones just to catch their favorite fighters. To be greeted with buffering screens, flickering audio, or blank feeds was more than just annoying. It was a total letdown. That said, it's still astonishing how Depp, a man with zero ties to the technical operations of ESPN, became a magnet for some of that anger. It wasn't that people believed he caused the issue, it's that his name offered a kind of cultural scapegoat, a placeholder for the absurdity of the moment. It was a perfect storm of hype, failure, and celebrity. The internet thrives on that. Suddenly, Johnny Depp wasn't just a movie star watching a fight. He was the unwilling face of ESPN's streaming crisis. He didn't respond publicly, at least not immediately. No clarifying tweet, no defensive Instagram post. Maybe he was amused, or maybe he just didn't care to dignify it with a response. That's part of Depp's mystique, his ability to stay detached from the whirlwind, even as it spins around him. While other celebrities might have jumped online to set the record straight or fuel the flames for more attention, Depp seemed content to let the madness play itself out. His silence, in a way, made it all the more surreal. Fans imagined him watching the blow-up with mild amusement, sipping wine, petting a dog, wondering how on earth his name ended up next to UFC and streaming failure in the same sentence. Of course, for longtime followers of his career, this kind of unintended chaos feels almost familiar. Depp has often been at the intersection of public fascination and tabloid speculation. Sometimes it's because of his own choices, controversial roles, outspoken interviews, legal battles. Other times, like this one, it's purely incidental. He can be minding his own business and somehow drama still finds him. It's become part of his brand, the lovable rogue caught in the crosshairs of culture and controversy, often with little to no provocation. And so the night went down in UFC history, not just as a technical disaster, but as a moment when sports, technology, and celebrity intersected in the weirdest way possible. A fight card overshadowed by glitches a major broadcaster put on blast, and Johnny Depp, who just wanted to enjoy some martial arts, dragged into the mess like an unwilling character in a play he didn't audition for. It's almost poetic, really. The chaos of live sports meeting the chaos of celebrity culture, blending into one surreal event that perfectly encapsulates the unpredictability of the digital age. Nothing was supposed to go wrong. Everyone was supposed to log on, watch the fights, cheer or boo, and log off. Instead, it became a cautionary tale about infrastructure failure, the power of viral attention, and how even the most innocent involvement from a public figure can send the internet into a tailspin. For Johnny Depp, it was just another night. For ESPN, it was a PR nightmare. For everyone else, it was proof that nothing, not even fight night, is safe from the wild meme-fueled chaos of the internet. So what does this all mean going forward? Well, for starters, ESPN is going to need to do some serious soul-searching. If they want to keep their grip on live sports streaming, they'll need to invest in better servers, stronger infrastructure, and a more responsive support team. Fans won't tolerate another night like UFC Vegas 107. And as for viewers, many are reconsidering where and how they watch live events. Stability, reliability, and trust are now more valuable than exclusive access or flashy promos. Here's a pro tip: if you're planning to stream a major event, use the most stable setup possible. That means a hardwired connection if you can, a device known for consistent performance like a smart TV or gaming console, and ideally, test everything before fight night. It sounds like overkill, but given what happened at UFC Vegas 107, it's worth the extra 5 minutes of preparation. And no, Johnny Depp didn't jinx anything. He's not the problem, he's just a fan, caught up in the madness like the rest of us. If anything, he's a reminder that sometimes even the biggest celebrities can't escape the small annoyances of everyday digital life. Whether you're a Hollywood legend or a die-hard MMA junkie, a spinning wheel is a spinning wheel. And it sucks for everyone. So, what do you think? Was Depp just a scapegoat in a much bigger issue? Should ESPN be held more accountable? And have you ever had a streaming service fail you at the worst possible moment? Drop your stories in the comments below. I want to hear them all. And if this deep dive gave you some insight, maybe drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and check out our next video where we break down the one platform that actually got streaming sports right, the surprising case of WWE. Trust me, you won't want to miss that one. Thanks for watching, and here's hoping your next fight night goes off without a hitch.